No holds barred. We are talking to the new police chief of the city of Detroit, and your questions as well will be answered.
Yeah, James Craig started his career here in 1977, and now he is back in a city that has gone into bankruptcy with a mission to turn around the department and make the streets safe. Chief, thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, you're
First,
welcome.
We'd love your reaction to Detroit filing for bankruptcy just this afternoon, just an hour or two ago.
Well, I can assure you and certainly the Detroit community that our service will continue. In fact, we're working on enhancing our service to the citizens. I heard what the governor said. Certainly, there is a concern when you talk about a 50-minute response time to emergency calls, and that's something that we've been really taking a look at. And I can tell you, it really comes down to educating the community on what constitutes an emergency. I know factually that our police officers, when there's a true emergency, shootings in progress, crimes and violent crimes in progress, our officers are committed to getting there as quickly as they can. In fact, we know that they've gotten there within 3 to 5 minutes. However, when people dial 911, certain calls take longer to arrive to, and that's why you get a 50-minute response time. So we're looking at that. Our consultants has been working. I'm excited about Detroit. I'm excited about this turning point.
We're excited to have you here. We're excited to have somebody that's taking over this position, and you have a lot of experience, and I know that you've already taken on some tasks like waste. You've already addressed some of that when it comes to some of your officers taking vehicles home. But back to the response, you say you have some consultants, you're looking at this. What's your first thought? How can you cut this response time down? Are you already starting the process of that? Are you waiting to gather information before you act? Where are we on that?
Both. Again, this is about education. I know that what the community wants to know, that there's a shooting in progress, using that as an example. Police officers are going to respond to that call, and they're going to arrive there within 3 to 4 minutes. We have reports of this. I mean, if you say that all emergency calls take 50 minutes to respond to, that's not really accurate. Yes, 911 calls. 911 is emergency call center. But we know factually that everyone that dials 911, it is not an emergency. So it's a matter of reprioritizing our calls for service. And we're in the process of looking at that. We're going to come out with an educational campaign so that the community knows that if you call the police and say you come home and you see that your door is open to your home, your home's been broken into, a home invasion, suspects are not inside, that requires a different response. But certainly if you're inside your home and suspects are coming in the home, that's very different. That's a crime in progress, and certainly our response should be very different to that.
When you met with reporters last week, you talked about morale among the police department being a huge issue for you. I wonder how this bankruptcy filing today, do you think will affect morale? And are you worried about what the bankruptcy filing could mean on benefits and pay and all that for your officers? Well,
you know, our message to the officers, we will continue to and are committed to serving this community. I'm committed to serving the rank and file. You know, yes, the morale is down. We had a meeting today, and so there are things that has driven the morale down. And what's interesting, and while pay is important, I'm not going to diminish the importance of pay, but the things that I've heard is the forced 12-hour shifts as an example. The fact that rank and file officers hadn't really truly had a voice, that officers on the beat have not felt appreciated. Those things are beginning to change, and I will tell you there's excitement in the police department. Now when you look at my executive team, because I'm about the business of accountability, because we must deliver the type of services that are expected to our community, that they deliver the kind of leadership that's expected to the men and women on the beat, there's some concern because we're making some changes and we're moving very quickly.
Let's talk a little bit about the murder rate. I'm sure you have the numbers. If my memory serves me, it's like 380 homicides last year. That is a big part of crime in Detroit, unfortunately. How do you address that?
Well, first of all, it has to be a priority. In this administration, reducing violent crime is a priority. Now, the good news is, I mean, one homicide is always one too many, but the good news, we're down 7% year to date. It's still too many. I mean, when you compare last year, we're sitting at currently 169 homicides compared to 183 this same time. Still too many. And so we're creating and developing a CompStat process.
And have you targeted what is the cause of this? Is it drug use? Is it domestic violence? I mean, what is the lion's share of the murders? How does that occur? What is that coming from?
Well, a number of factors. I mean, one of the things that concerns me most is dispute. Just random, spontaneous disputes, and there's no ability to resolve that conflict.
That leads to violence.
Those things are something that it's a little more challenging.
So that's a guns issue, you think? Right?
Well, it's more than just a guns issue. It's about an individual being able to resolve a conflict without resorting to deadly violence.
But you know, we've got to wrap up. We promised we'd ask a viewer question or two, so I just want to get one in real quick before we go. And someone said, your mission, and how is it different than any other police chief? We've seen a whole lot of police chiefs in the city of Detroit over the last 5 years.
I am different.
Why are you different?
I'm different because I'm from a place called Away. I mean, I was born and raised here in Detroit, but I had the good fortune of working in one of the best police agencies in this country, and I learned a lot about policing. I'm talking about Los Angeles Police Department. And then from that, moving on and becoming a police chief, both in Portland, Maine, and Cincinnati, where they all had their unique challenges. So I'm a well-rounded policing leader, and certainly when you look at morale, high morale equates to reduced crime. And I know it's hard to understand that, but I've seen it happen in other places. It will happen here in Detroit.
We wish you the best. We are so hopeful that you can make a difference in this city.
We will make a difference. We will make a difference together.
Wish you the best, and when you start to unfold some of those initiatives, please come here to 7 Action News and unveil that for all the citizens of Detroit. We'd love to have you back.
Well, in fact, you know that we've started bi-monthly media availability sessions.
Right.
I'm committed to transparency. I'm committed to keeping the word out, the good news out to the people that live here in the city of Detroit.
We have a standing invitation. Standing invitation. Come back anytime.
I'll come back.
Thank you so much.